And we're back, bitches! Woo!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Ango Show. It is September 24th, 2026. I'm your boy Ango, and today we are joined by Billy TKO. We're back. Guess who's back? Back again. Billy's back. Hello, friend.
We're back, ladies and gentlemen. We are back. How you feeling, brother?
Dude, last night's NXT was sick, so I'm feeling good.
Good, man. Good. It was. Last night's NXT was sick. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed pro wrestling a lot recently, actually.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't talked.
No,
so
we haven't.
I definitely have some stuff to get off my chest, and I'm definitely excited to talk about some stuff.
For sure.
You know, there's a lot of things with wrestling that's pissing me off lately. So that's
why
I think I think it's going to be fun to just kind of sit back, relax, and talk and enjoy and see what's happening.
For sure.
But last night's NXT was so good that it just made me really happy as a fan, because the one thing that I keep feeling frustrated about, especially as of late, is that, you know, WWE and AEW, they're doing good, but there's just something there that's kind of like missing, that's kind of like drawing me in. And NXT, you know, we kind of knew what was going down. They've openly teased it, and they've done a really good job of setting it up. But obviously, for those who don't know what we are talking about the official invasion angle. So of course TNA was invaded, NXT was invaded by TNA, which was really dope.
There we go.
And I'm excited about it. Definitely a lot of stuff to discuss. Me and Billy are going to be talking today. If you guys are here watching live on YouTube, if you guys want to support the channel, the best way to do so is by clicking like on the stream. Also, another way is super chats or becoming a member. It guarantees your questions or comments get read on the screen, which our super chat goal is active. And then, of course, we are live on X as well. So if you guys are watching on X, if you guys want to retweet this, repost it, whatever, that would be greatly appreciated. Hopefully Billy is not clickbaiting me here. Hopefully Billy's actually back, because I sure as hell missed this.
No, I'm not clickbaiting you. I'm actually back. I'm here. I'm ready. Obviously, everybody who's subscribed over to me and has watched some of the watch-alongs, they kind of know everything that I've been going through. A little background, grandmother got sick. She needed some help, so I'm here helping her, but we were able to figure out the time slot. Once again, our noon time slot is the best slot. I don't care what nobody says. I feel like this is the most enjoyable time to watch anything about pro wrestling. That's just me personally. So I had to make sure that no matter what, we were able to figure it out on both of our ends to get back to this 12 o'clock time slot. So no, brother, there will be no clickbaiting. We are back, and we are back for good. This will be hopefully the last time that you have to hear that we are back.
Yeah,
right?
For sure. And obviously what you're doing keeps you busy and stuff, so it's totally understandable. But
sure.
I think that people miss us, Billy. I'm not gonna lie, man.
I think so too, dude. I know they miss us. I hear it. I see it in your chat, obviously. But not only there, it's in my chat too. When are you and Ango getting back together? For everybody who knows, if you're a member over on my channel, they have a phone number that they can reach out to me. I get texts all the time. When are you and Ango going to be back? When are you and Ango going to be back? Well, we're back. We're here. We're back. We're ready to roll. Man, I'm super ecstatic to just be here and be present here and doing this. It makes me excited, man.
Yeah, I'm excited.
This is one of my favorite things to do, because it pulls me away from reality, which I think just as much as anybody else, I need it, they need it, you need it. You know, it makes everybody happy.
You know, Billy, it's so funny too, because one thing that I was thinking about lately, and maybe people in the chat could let us know in the chat how they feel. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm genuinely wrong. I love wrestling, but what I love about wrestling is how it brings people together. And I feel like
community.
When you're not like engaged with your community, or in this case, if me and you aren't doing the show and we're not talking about wrestling, I feel like it's weird, because one thing that we used to do quite a bit, which is the reason why we even started doing the live streams together, was we would just talk about wrestling. And then what happened was we stopped doing the show, and I feel like in a way we almost kind of stopped talking about wrestling. So I was like, bro, I got to get you back on the show so we can talk about wrestling.
Correct. You know, because prior to the show, everybody who's watched for a long time knows that we've just chatted about pro wrestling our whole friendship. That's what started it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's weird when we're not sitting there having a discussion about it. So I'm just like I said, man, I can't express enough how happy I am just to be able to sit here, whether it be in this place or at home, it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, I'm ecstatic to be here and be able to do this, man. It makes me happy.
No, I'm glad. And honestly, guys, one thing I really want to tell you is obviously I posted a huge life update several weeks ago, which was that I got engaged, and I got engaged to the love of my life, my best friend. And I'm super, super excited about it. And this is, I'm going to be real honest with you guys. I don't know if you've planned a wedding before. I am now planning a wedding, which is a huge task, right? And so for me, yes, this is my job. And yes, this is what funds my lifestyle or whatever. This, everything I do is typically just wrestling related. But for me personally, I know that it's going to get stressful. I'm sure there's going to be times where it's going to be hard planning a wedding. But I genuinely just missed being live. And as excited as I am about, getting married and all of these things, I also need to be sane. So the thing is, Billy, it's kind of crazy, but when wrestling sucks and it's your job, right? And then you're stressed, you're like, damn, bro, I can't enjoy it. This is the thing I enjoy the most. I don't think a lot of people know this, but I genuinely enjoy wrestling to the point where I like talking about it. If it gets to the point that I don't like talking about it or I'm not talking about it, that's not a good thing. And for somebody who typically enjoys wrestling like I do, I just want to say, like, I'm making it very clear moving forward as Billy joins us back on the show and we do this. Fuck the tribalism shit that you guys are seeing. And I'm not arguing with people in the chat, dude. I don't got time for that shit. I want to sit here and talk wrestling. If you guys come to the chat and you want to spam things about tribalism or AEW or WWE, this and that, like, you are taking the fun away from professional wrestling, and I will not be engaging with that.
BS.
I will ignore it moving forward. The truth is, I feel like that shit makes me fucking hate wrestling, and me and Billy are two humans that don't agree on everything, and for some reason we could just chat and it's completely fine. So, yeah.
Crazy how life works, right? Crazy how you could just be two normal people just having a topic of discussion.
Yeah.
And then, just agreeing to disagree, sometimes agreeing on things, sometimes fully disagreeing.
Yeah.
And that's crazy
what I'm saying. Just moving forward, if you guys are in the chat and that's what you guys want to partake in, I'm actually not going to be engaging with that anymore. I really want to kind of change the way that we do our live streams in the sense of I just want us to talk and hang out, engage with the chat. And that's definitely what we're going to be doing more of. So shout out to all of you guys in the chat, Chester, Right Hand Cam, who, by the way, became a pro member. Shout out to Nats fan, Michael Graham, Phil Batway, Byron Cutler, Meat Knight 8, Todd Crow. Shout out to Mike, by the way, our mod here on YouTube and on Discord. Nightbot should be working. Nightbot should be working, so shout out to Mike. But yeah, man, let's keep it moving. A couple super chats to get through, and then we'll start talking about NXT TNA. And you like that? You like that one? You like that one?
Yeah, that was slick.
Tolino Channel, shout out to Tolino Channel. Tolino Channel coming through with a super chat. And I just want to say, Tolino Channel, thank you for remembering us because I haven't seen you in a while.
Big shout out to Tolino Channel, man.
Every time we read the shout outs, we're gonna get lit with the air horn. Tolino Channel dropping. Yeah, I know it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be wild. This is gonna be crazy. Tolino Channel dropping 100 rupees. He says this TNA NXT invasion has an angle also. Which side is Hendry and Jordan Grace? Also, if Masha Slamovich is not in this storyline, who's to blame? So this is where things get kind of interesting, and I'm so glad that Tolino Channel dropped this in a super chat because I did want to talk about this. Okay. I don't know if you're familiar with it, Billy, so I'm gonna just take the lead on this, and then I will kind of
go ahead.
We'll kind of respond. But for those who don't know, Masha Slamovich is not part of the TNA NXT invasion angle. She's been removed from indie shows. She's been removed from TNA programming because currently there is an internal investigation. There was some news that came out that Masha Slamovich was involved in some domestic abuse situation, allegedly. And there's a whole bunch of information floating around on social media, text messages, and things of that nature. As of right now, TNA is kind of being quiet on it, but they did come out with a statement saying that they are doing an internal investigation. Masha Slamovich has already been removed from other indie shows. She was obviously not present at the NXT invasion. So it is something to pay attention to. We don't know what's going to come of it, if anything will even come of it. But one thing that I do want to make clear is these are accusations that are being made. This came at a time where PWI had the top 500. She was on the list.
Right.
So just kind of keep that in mind. Obviously, for more updates, make sure you guys click follow or subscribe. But definitely something very interesting brewing right there.
Yeah, I didn't even know that was a thing. I'm not aware of exactly what happened.
Yeah.
So that's new news to me.
Yeah, there was a whole bunch of text messages that leaked, and there were some things that came out, and basically some stuff about her hitting her boyfriend, or her ex-boyfriend. Again, these are all allegedly
right. Yes, everything's alleged.
Yeah,
for sure.
Just kind of repeating what's out there, but obviously we'll kind of see what happens. But yeah, it is true. She wasn't part of the NXT invasion angle.
Right. I knew she wasn't there.
She wasn't there. It was kind of weird because I knew
she played such a big factor in that whole crossover between TNA and NXT.
Yeah, so she's not part of it, which, listen, man, whatever happened, we don't know the truth, right? So we got to see what happens.
Right.
But Masha's in a situation where it's like, okay, well, now you're doing an invasion angle, which, by the way, let's just be clear about this. TNA's in the hunt for a new TV deal. Probably already has it, by the way. Just being pretty honest.
They probably do.
They probably have it. It's probably being announced at Bound for Glory. It's probably the CW network. We could probably talk about that in a little bit too. But this is not just Masha Slamovich has to appease to the TNA people, but also NXT and the CW, because the crossover is a different company too. So they made the decision to keep her off of it. Will they bring her back or whatever it may be? I don't know. And obviously we'll pay attention to it, but I'm very glad that Toledo Channel brought that up, because I did want to mention that at some point. Regarding Joe Hendry and Jordynne Grace, Billy, what do you think? Because I have a weird theory here, but I kind of want to hear what you have to say about it.
Well, I think I have an idea what your theory is, but I could also see how this could play into somebody like Joe Hendry, right? Who's kind of been a big role on both TNA and NXT. And, I know last week at Homecoming, obviously there was something with Bobby Roode, and you kind of heard them mention now that you're a part of NXT. Now, I don't think that's ever been solidified, right? I don't think that's something that's ever been like stamped or whatnot. So I do think that you have to look at somebody like Joe Hendry as a dark horse to just be like, no, I'm siding with WWE on this. Right. Because WWE gave him so much, right? They gave him the WrestleMania moment. They let him walk out in the Royal Rumble. Like, there were so many underlining factors with Joe Hendry and WWE before this TNA partnership really brewed to the level that it is now. And I think the same could be said with Jordynne Grace. If you look at Jordynne Grace and everything that she's kind of done on WWE TV, she's kind of been snubbed, and her biggest runs, let's be real here, has come from TNA TV.
Yeah.
Right. TNA Women's Knockout Champion, obviously was, at one point you could say that she was the sole underlining factor on why TNA was doing as hot as they were, right? Yeah. So Jordynne Grace, you can look at that, like, who's going to leave the WWE side? Well, Jordynne Grace is a great option for that, right? Because she's getting snubbed so many times in the WWE, she still can't grab a hold of that that NXT Women's Championship. And I think you have to look at all these little underlining factors of what the history for somebody like Jordynne Grace or Joe Hendry looks like, and then take into account what they're doing now, and then let that story play out on TV. So it is very interesting, but I know that you also had your own theory in your mind, and I'm going to let it now.
Yeah, no, I think the best thing I could really say, or anything I could really attest to, like with WWE and NXT, the TNA stuff, is right now, as it currently stands, I don't think we should be looking at Joe Hendry or Jordynne Grace, because Joe Hendry is being transitioned from TNA to WWE. We know that starting 2026, he's going to be in WWE. Unless something radically changes, like that's the expectation that there is amongst TNA and WWE. So I actually don't think it's going to be Joe Hendry or Jordynne Grace that do anything, but I do think there will be some sort of double cross that comes. And whether it comes against NXT or comes against TNA, I'm not sure. But I do predict that fully there will be one. And what's really interesting about that is that I have a very strong feeling it could be somebody from the WWE side of things. And the reason why I say that is because with this partnership, when I say a double cross, with this partnership, I don't look at it as like, okay, we started right now and then it ends in a couple weeks. This is something that's going to probably be drawn out for a while because of the fact of what I believe will be the TNA TV deal. If you can imagine, if I'm correct here, TNA gets a TV deal on the CW network and they move to Wednesdays. TNA is on Wednesdays. NXT is on Tuesdays. They're going to continue crossing over back and forth on Tuesday and Wednesday nights. So I do think there will be somebody who's from WWE who will kind of transition to TNA as the person who does the double cross. So that way they could help TNA on Wednesday nights. And I don't know who that may be, but I do have that prediction. I think there's a couple of people that are very valid. But I could see that happening. And maybe Jordan Grace or Joe Hendry could be kind of a fun option for the simple fact that, they're closely tied to both companies. And obviously if Joe Hendry's being, transitioning to WWE full time, right, next year, maybe he does make sense, but I don't think that will happen. But I don't know. I just think it's fun to kind of theorize. I think it's definitely a good thing. So
for sure.
Shout out to Tolino Channel for that super chat. Right hand cam coming through with $5 super chat. Guess who's back? Back again. Guess who's back? Tell a friend. I've missed y'all. Yo, I'm back in full effect. NXT was good last night. I gotta be honest, man. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Genuinely speaking, NXT is the most consistent TV show weekly. I think the last few months they've really proved that. I think I genuinely believe that NXT has kind of figured it out differently from the main roster and from AEW. Like, I genuinely believe NXT. Listen, I get it. Their matches aren't going to be the greatest fucking bangers in the world, but I don't care about that, man. When it comes from top to bottom, getting people on the show, making everybody feel important, making everybody feel like a big deal, looking at the mid card, looking at the women's and men's roster, it's very balanced. The show is very consistent. And I just want to be extremely honest with you guys. I'm going to tell you this, and Billy, I'm going to tell you this because this is kind of like a revelation since the last time we truly streamed together. But I am starting to personally feel fatigued with the way WWE and AEW conduct business and the way that they conduct their TV shows. However, the one thing I'm truly enjoying on a consistent basis is NXT, TNA, and AAA Worlds Collide, like those kinds of shows. I'm not saying Raw or SmackDown is bad, and I'm not saying Dynamite is bad, because I'm being very clear here. I've been enjoying those shows, but I'm fatigued of those shows. I don't feel like they are truly, while it's good right now, I don't feel like it's the best it could be. And I feel like right now, NXT, considering their roster and everything they have, I've just been enjoying it a lot. And
yeah, for sure.
One thing I just kind of want to point out, and I'll let you react, but one thing I will say, man, and this is the hardest part, but this is why I was saying, like, I enjoy wrestling more when I talk with people about wrestling. But I just feel as if, like, Raw this week was so good, right? Raw was so good. Mm-hmm. The problem is, will Raw just be as good next week? I don't know. You know what I mean? But every Tuesday when I watch NXT, man, I'm getting excited for it.
Yeah, I mean, okay. So when it comes to NXT, obviously, if you've tuned into any of our live shows, you know that one of the biggest talking points, at least for the last, say, 7 months, right, was the men's main event scene in NXT. We were always kind of a little iffy on it. Yeah. It felt like that was the one place where fatigue came from with NXT. Yep. Now, if you look at the way that NXT finished last night with Ricky Saints and Obafemi, and how everybody's just, beating the dog shit out of each other, then you would know that, okay, it looks like Ricky Saints looks very important in that role. So, to talk about the fatigue, I do think that we're finally going to see, and this is me taking a long shot here, but I do think that we are finally going to see Obafemi lose that championship, and I do believe that it's going to be to Ricky Saints, which I think was always the plan to begin with. It just took us a little bit longer to get there than maybe it should have. Yeah. That's just my personal opinion, but it does look like that we're starting to get there. Now, when you talk about WWE and the way that they conduct business and how you're feeling fatigued from potentially the way that they conduct business, my reaction to that, and what I'll say is I think with what you and I both do, how we cover pro wrestling, we're kind of always in the know, right?
Yeah.
Like we know just about everything now. Not everybody does, and the reason why I could say that is because I have friends that reach out to me, especially with the new ESPN deal, that have reached out to me and said, "Oh, well, I didn't know that it was going to be like this." Well, I did. I tried telling you, and you just didn't understand, or whatever the case is, right? And I think once you see that, it's hard because you're constantly knowing what they're going to do, and you can instantly make an opinion on it, right? Because we understand the circumstances that are taking place with the ESPN deal. Think about it. That day we talked about, okay, well, they're going to do it subscription based. You know that you're going to be able to log in with your TV provider. Like, we knew everything before it even happened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Versus people who found out the day of WrestlePalooza, right? Who were like, oh my God, I didn't know that it was going to be like this.
Yeah.
Oh, well, so you're not like fatigued by that? Like, I've known this for so long and you just didn't know? Okay, well, all right. So really what I'm trying to say here is that the fatigue comes, I think, from knowing so much. I think that's where, because we make judgments on their business decisions, because we not only judge from an analysis standpoint, but we also judge from a fan standpoint. And we kind of sit directly in the middle. You know what I'm saying? We very much sit right there in the middle of analysis and fan.
Yeah.
And we're mostly thinking from a fan standpoint. You know what I'm saying?
Can I tell you one thing that's really bothered me business wise? And
yeah,
it's bothered me because I've talked about this before, and I don't think people understand how I truly feel about this, which is wild to think. But like, I've always been very adamant. The business decisions that WWE does, right? Like the ticket prices increase and everything that TKO is doing, like the corporate greed. I've always said, I don't like it, but I understand it because they're a business, right?
For sure.
But at one point, it felt like when Triple H got back into power, he was booking the shows for the people. And when I say that, it's not just the long-term stories and the surprises. And obviously we got a lot of those debuts, and like his honeymoon period was fucking awesome. Like Triple H's honeymoon period was awesome. But now I'm seeing TKO and Triple H, and Triple H, I feel like more so aligns the way he presents himself on social media and everything is very much for kissing TKO's ass instead of being the guy that's listening to the fans and booking for the fans. And I know he is. Let me be clear. I know Triple H is booking for the fans. The AJ Styles John Cena announcement was clearly done on purpose. The way they did it, they knew they were trying to get the fans to talk about it so they could say, listen, we hear you guys, right? Which I admire and I'm happy. I'm not stupid. I know that Triple H is listening to the fans. But sometimes it comes off to me as like, okay, TKO is this big monster and we do all this fucking cool stuff, and look at us getting on a private jet and landing in the arena. Let me show you all of our cool drone shots and this and that. It's like the spectacle aspect of it. But then we got WrestlePalooza, for example, and I thought WrestlePalooza was an awesome show, but it was like, damn, Triple H didn't do anything after the copyright symbol. He kind of played it safe. NXT doesn't do that. NXT has not played it safe. NXT has been very, 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 very ambiguous with the way they do their TV. And so when I tell you guys personally, and when I speak of this, it's like, I don't think we're fatigued because of the fact that we know so much. I think we're fatigued from the fact that we're starting to witness in real time that Triple H is becoming such a corporate stooge that he's kind of forgetting what made him so popular to begin with.
So, and I told you this on the phone the other day, and I'm gonna put it out in the world. I know it's probably gonna sound crazy, and I know many people will probably disagree with me on this one, but I truly feel like Triple H is not the last decision maker in things. I just don't. I know when it comes to creative, I should say that. I don't think he's the final decision maker. I look at somebody like Dana White in the UFC, who is obviously the face of the UFC. And Triple H is the same people, right? I view them the same exact way. And I view it as, at the end of the day, Triple H has a boss that he has to answer to. Obviously, that's the case in anything, right?
Yeah.
But he's, went out and talked about, oh, well, I'm the final decision maker when it comes to creative, blah, blah, blah. I do not think that is the case, and maybe we can come back to this 4 or 5 years down the line and maybe people are having that discussion then. But truth be told, I don't. I don't think he is the final decision maker. I don't think he is the one calling all the shots. I think he is the matchmaker. I think he is the one that gets us to the place that we need to go. I do believe that, but I believe TKO wants to see a certain thing done. I believe they have a certain vision for the way that they want their company ran, and I believe that they're going to follow that vision no matter what. I mean, people say numerous times that, oh, the UFC is bigger than the WWE. I talked about it on one of my live streams. I don't see that as the case. I think that's a false narrative that people have built inside of their head.
Yeah.
So I think that WWE, Triple H is not the final the final creative guy. I think the only reason I say that is again going back and looking at his booking in NXT when he kind of had that full creative control really to himself, and then obviously coming up to the main roster that early honeymoon phase. I don't know. I just feel like if you have a mind for something like that, it's not something that naturally goes away. You don't lose it just like that. I think it has to be a numerous amount of things that have to happen. And I think when like you said, you know, trying to impress and being that corporate stooge, at some point that's what you become, right? And at that point you're just trying to wither to their needs and somebody like Ari Emanuel, what he thinks is going to be best for the company, when ultimately I think Triple H has always had the vision, and I've talked about it numerous times. I personally always wish that Stephanie and Triple H bought it. Obviously they don't have that money background, we're not there, but I do wish that they were the people that ended up picking up WWE, because I believe if they did, we would not be having this discussion. And we wouldn't be sitting here today, because, again, I think it's all about corporate. I think it's all about the money. I think if it would have stayed in the family, it still would have been about the family. That's just me personally.
Yeah, I disagree with you. I do think Triple H has. I think Triple H has the final say. I think the problem is not so much having the final say or not, because the booking has been good. The booking. Listen, let me be very clear. WWE's booking has been very good booking. It's logical. It makes sense. You're not seeing some shitty ass booking. What you're seeing is a lack of, I want to say, intention. And what I mean by that is, like, for example, like the Damage Control thing. When Damage Control first came back, it was like Triple H was like, man, I'm for the people. I'm for the wrestlers. I know this is going to work out. And it eventually became something awesome, right? It was like he took that initial step to be like, surprise, motherfuckers.
Yeah,
guess
instantly,
who's here?
instantly.
Yes.
Instantly. Yeah.
And then we saw with Bronson Reed and all these guys that came back, and eventually some new signings and stuff.
Wyatt was another big one. There were so many big names that came back.
And then it's like, okay, when the Wyatt Six returned and they did the thing with Joe Gacy and Dexter Lumis and everybody, there was like that special element of like, oh, this is for the people.
Everything felt different.
Yes, there is a different feeling. There is a different aura right now where I feel like it's become less of that. But it's more about the, wow, we're the #1 rated wrestling show. We have the best attendance. We have this groundbreaking announcement, blah, blah. The only reason why you got there was because of your booking being so special. And listen, we're kind of steering away from NXT, but the reason why I even bring it up is because I don't have this issue with NXT. Even when you and I would criticize Billy, NXT's main event scene, every so often it picks back up, right? And it's not perfect by any means, but it picks back up. To have Ricky Saints, amidst all the chaos, basically saying, I'm not getting involved with these fuckers. I got a match at No Mercy. I want this title. That was important. That was an important emphasis on Ricky Saints, you know? And it was like, okay, that's how you slowly fix your main event scene. Because why would Ricky Saints give a fuck about NXT? It's not like he's been there forever. Why would he give a fuck about TNA?
It's not about caring about... Right,
yeah,
exactly.
He cares about gold. He's a selfish prick. He's a babyface, but he's a selfish prick. It fits with his character. And it's like, okay, I don't need NXT like to become the main roster. And I think Shawn Michaels has a really good grasp on things. I think WWE's doing a good job there. But that's where I get frustrated, because it's like every week with with NXT and because of their partnership with TNA, I feel like I could get excited. Raw and SmackDown, I can watch and I can enjoy. And shout out to every YouTuber who's going to disagree with me here, because there's a lot of them. Right now, it seems to be the cool period to shit on WWE. I'm not shitting on WWE because their weekly television shows I can watch and enjoy.
Yeah, there's no reason to shit on WWE in the fact of booking, because even I'll say, even though I may disagree with you and say that Triple H, I feel, isn't the final decision, it does not mean that I'm sitting here saying that the booking is bad.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that the booking is necessarily horrible.
What we're starting to see is a teeter-totter, right? So take NXT out of the equation, but if you watch AEW and WWE, it's almost like WWE is starting to lose their coolness a little bit because they're going away from the people and more towards the corporate stuff. And AEW, when you watch All Out, it was like, oh, we're starting to go back to the way that AEW was originally, where we were for the people. And you could kind of see that shift on social media. Now, the truth is, I've been very happy with both products for the last several months. My difference is I'm trying to stay away from the hoopla on social media because I'm seeing it. I'm seeing content creators right now. They're automatically shifting to be like, well, let's talk shit about WWE because AEW is starting to become cool. Well, let's just face it. It's not going to change. WWE is still fucking cooler than AEW. Oh, it's subjective, blah, blah. No, I mean, the proof is in the statistics. Like AEW is starting to listen again, and it's good, but it's the statistics prove that WWE is what they're doing is right. Unfortunately, the change that I want to see from WWE is just a simple, hey, let's just make things feel a little more special again. Because you know when's the last time something felt special on WWE programming, Billy?
When?
It was when the heel turn happened for John Cena.
Correct.
And that was the turning point for WWE where, okay, the heel turn, I'm okay with the heel run, but I'm noticing that was the last moment of specialty that WWE
it was a great decision. It was a great decision on the surface.
Yeah.
And on service value, that was a great decision. But at the end of the day, it wasn't the end all be all, because if you go forward and look at the situation, it wasn't everything that it was all cracked up to be when you look at it from, then to now. Yeah. Right. And now like you said, it was kind of like the last piece that really was like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened.
Yeah.
Even when you looked at WrestleMania, that was supposed to be a big moment between Cody and John. And we talked about it, very underwhelming. It felt like everything that we had been talking about recently was just the word underwhelming.
Yeah. Not bad booking, but just underwhelming because they're not going that extra mile, I think is the best way to kind of describe it.
They're not taking the extra step. I mean, look at WrestlePalooza. We had the idea of Randy Orton, finishing off. Yeah. And the ideas are there. I'm asking, why aren't they being implicated?
Yeah. One thing that I found was interesting, Boris actually said in the chat, he's like, why don't you praise WWE ticket prices while you're at it? And I thought that was an interesting comment because I'm one of the people that, like, my stance on going to wrestling shows has completely shifted. And maybe it has to do with the fatigue that I feel with professional wrestling, but WWE could charge $1 million for tickets. I don't care. I'm not going. WWE, Billy, you and I know this because when they would come to Detroit, like it was kind of standard, maybe $150 to $200 something.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, you could find them on Ticketmaster, SeatGeek, wherever.
You could find decently priced tickets before. Right now, WWE ticket prices are absurd. There's been times where...
I mean, they're out of pocket.
Yeah, but what's crazy is there would be times even before these ticket prices went up, you would call me and be like, hey, should we go? And I would look at ticket prices and I'm like, man, even for $200, I kind of want to just sit home and relax and watch Raw and make content, And it's so funny because the ticket prices for WWE have gone up significantly. I personally think it's a stupid thing with the way they're doing it. Not stupid from a business perspective. From a business perspective, if people are giving you money and you're charging more money and you're getting the money, fucking do it. I'm not saying don't do it. I think it's more stupid in the sense that like WWE is a family-friendly program experience. I saw WrestleMania 42 ticket prices. Bro, that they're more than a fucking cost for my honeymoon. Like, I'm sorry.
Dude, didn't I see WrestleMania tickets for like $30,000?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, let me go buy a Toyota Camry while I'm at it.
Dude, bro, like I'm just saying, like, me personally, I'm just being honest. Like, I'm not tripping. Like, again, I get why they're doing it. But me personally, like, okay, if I'm saving one, I'm saving for a wedding. First and foremost, let's be clear on that. I'm saving for a wedding. I'm not going to any wrestling shows, right? I'm saving for a wedding. That's the first thing. And then the second thing that I really have to take into account is that I got to go on a honeymoon. So I always loved using wrestling trips as a vacation, right? Every time I've gone to WrestleMania, when I went to New Orleans, I went to a whole bunch of indie wrestling shows. I went to NXT. I went to Hall of Fame. I did Raw and SmackDown. I did those things, right? But what was I doing at night? I was going to nice dinners. I was going to nice bars, enjoying some nice drinks and some nice food and some music, right? I used it as an excuse to go on vacation. I am not going to WrestleMania 42 because I would rather go on my honeymoon and enjoy myself. And I could watch WrestleMania 8 hours
from
of
the
it.
honeymoon.
No, I mean, my honeymoon probably will not coincide with WrestleMania, thank God.
I hope not.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, if that was the case, dude, it's like, dude, I'd rather just sit back in the hotel or sit back in the room and just fucking watch it and make content. As a content creator, the bread and butter, as you guys know, it's WrestleMania. Let's not be stupid. So, like, dude, I just, when I saw that comment, I kind of thought about it. It's like, no, I'm praising them for the business that they're doing because, my God, they're smart. Listen, they're killing it. I'm not mad about it. But me personally, just my personality type, I honestly don't. I've gone to so many wrestling shows. I really don't give a fuck to go to any more of them.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what. I've had the experience of both AEW and WWE, and both have, very much wowed me in that experience. I think the whole reason people go to wrestling shows is because they enjoy the community atmosphere, kind of like we talked about. Community is kind of everything.
Yeah.
And WWE raising their ticket prices removes that. And that, I think, is what steers me away, is when you steer the community away from these shows, then you're taking the heart and soul literally away from everything that you do. And what are you replacing it with? You're replacing it with kings and queens of countries and famous athletes, et cetera, for what? The sake of a ESPN highlight reel or something like that? Like, I don't know. It's just something that I'm not able to fully grasp behind or really get behind. And I think if, kind of like how you talked about with the honeymoon and stuff like that, I think if anything, that would be the thing that pulls me away from television, going to any of those TV shows or anything, because it really, once you take the community out, then you really have nothing left. When you out ticket price your community, you're beating yourself a hole that maybe you're not seeing yet. But eventually you will. Asking $30,000 for front row seats is just excuse me. I think I seen 32,000 for the row behind front row, who absolutely do not matter at all. By the way, when you go to a TV show, when you go to like Raw, SmackDown, whatever, that seat does not matter. Yeah. Row 1 is the only seat that really matters.
Yeah, let me.
That's where you get your high fives and things.
Not to cut you off either, but I'm just gonna. My experience when SummerSlam came to Detroit and I was sitting 9th row and we spent over $2,000 to go, me and my cousin. Yes, I had a blast. I'm not going to lie. I had a blast. I also didn't have a blast when I considered I was sitting behind somebody who was 7'5" Shaquille O'Neal, Yao Ming. Like, it was like a fucking giant, dude. And I couldn't see sometimes. And it's like, literally security would tell me, the ushers would tell me like, hey, like, you can't be outside the aisle because my seat was right next to the steps. He's like, oh, you can't be out. I'm like, dude, I can't see. Like, my view is completely obstructed because I'm sitting next to somebody who's like 10 feet tall. I'm sitting next to behind a giant, So as much as I had a blast there, it was because of the energy. What I hated about it was the fact that I spent so much money on those tickets and I didn't feel like those tickets were worth it. So my experience going to wrestling shows, like, I've always had a good time and I make fun out of it, but to me, it's not a must-have. And that's why I think, like, NXT is such a cool show, because studio wrestling, no matter where you sit, there's no bad seat in the house. And NXT doesn't even cost money to go to, Dude,
when they did Homecoming last week, the nostalgia that I felt from that, being like, oh, my God, like, this is wrestling. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, this is what it should feel like, the excitement of like Finn Balor. I'm not going to get too off topic here, but just that, like you said, that very much like that small atmosphere, that 5,000 people top, right?
Oh, Full Sail didn't have 5,000 people.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, that's tops.
Yeah. So one thing I will say too, and me and you didn't get to talk about it, but just because context, like, people got so pissed at AEW doing 2,300 arena, and the main consensus was it looks so little league. Sure, it does. It does. Being such a big company, being in 2,300 arena, you look like a small ass company. But I will say this: I always preferred studio wrestling more. I always liked the smaller venues.
Dude, what I'll never understand, what I'll never be able to grasp onto is how people can go out and say that, knowing damn well that they have nothing to do with the business in the first place.
Yeah.
Who cares? Watch as a fan. I'm watching as a fan.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the 2300 arena over in Philly.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then it's
that
like,
was beautiful.
And that's why it's cool. Like, even when you look at TNA, yeah, they're doing bigger venues, but like 3,000-4,000 people. Like, dude, I like it. You know what I mean? I like the smaller, more intimate shows.
For sure. Dude, let Tony Khan deal with the business side of it. Let us talk about the business. Let us be those people, right? Because that's what we do in the first place. Dude, enjoy wrestling for wrestling. Because I'm here to tell you, if you looked at AEW in the 2300 arena, you looked at NXT in Full Sail, I'm here to tell you your experience was probably better than the experience that you had at, we'll just say, the United Center, right? Yeah. Or at Little Caesars Arena, whatever. No. The experience was better. I'm here to tell you. You're more compacted. You're more forced to talk to people. You're more forced to, again, build that community, because community is such a big thing, and that's where it builds from. Yeah. So I mean, people I think are outrageous. No, let those guys focus on that stuff. Be a fan, enjoy pro wrestling, enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah. And it was valid criticism, but I just like the smaller stuff in general, you know. And it's I just feel like they're more intimate. I think they look cooler, and like whenever WWE goes to, like, NXT would go to center stage in Atlanta or whatever, like, it looks cool. Yeah. Obviously, we kind of steered away from the conversation a little bit, but
I know. We just kind of ran off on whatever we were talking about.
It's just, there's a point that needs to be made, though. I think deep down inside, I think sometimes it's so easy for people to get into this micro analysis of stuff and then forget to enjoy what they're watching. And I've peeled back on that a lot since me and you have not done those show. And the thing that I'm starting to realize is, like, I started to realize how much more I'm enjoying all wrestling by kind of getting away from the conversation on social media, which is hard, because the number one thing about me on my channel, and you know this very well, is that I'm very community centric. I don't really, after so many people have telling you what you're allowed to enjoy or not allowed to enjoy, it really takes the fun out of it. And part of that's okay, I need to kind of reserve myself, and you know, maybe more of my thoughts and opinions are coming on these live streams, and that's kind of the big thing I want us to focus on, is our dialogue back and forth. But you know, I've noticed how much more I enjoy wrestling the more that I stay away from this bullshit that's being spewed, because there's a lot of bullshit being spewed that is honestly not enjoyable. And that's a big thing. But, you know, going back to NXT, there was a super chat from Tolino Channel. He dropped 100 rupees. And he says, JC Jane's promo was really good. Also, dumping Jasmine Nick's angle also adds more to her character. It's about her and her only. Also, Blake needs a good feud. So we'll get to Blake Monroe in just a moment, because I'm very excited about her match that she has with Jordan Grace. But let's talk about Jasmine Nix, for those who don't know.
Yeah.
It just came out that Jasmine Nix is gone from the WWE. And so some of the things that have come out about this have actually been really interesting. So I kind of want to talk about it. If you guys aren't subscribed or followed, make sure you guys follow. But Jasmine Nix is gone from the WWE, and the reason behind it is actually kind of interesting. There's a lot of misinformation going around. We saw in NXT that Jasmine Nix was completely dropped from Fatal Influence, and a lot of people were confused. They're like, all right, what's going on? Is she released? Is she not released?
Yeah, didn't she get, like, attacked or something like that?
Yeah, she got attacked. So now it comes out, PW Insider had come out and revealed that her contract expired and WWE decided not to re-sign her. Now, this is where things get a little bit more interesting, because of the fact that there are people coming out saying that Jasmine Nix actually wanted to be done with WWE and she chose not to re-sign. There is no confirmation on any of this, but what we do know is this. WWE and Jasmine Nix was a very cool partnership for Fatal Influence. Other than that, I don't know if she had anything higher to achieve. I don't think there was going to be much more for her to do. I don't think to be honest, respectfully, I'm going to say this, she was very green. She needed a little bit more work to be done to actually get better in the ring. But she's gone from the company. It's not a big miss for the company. They wrote her off the right way. Real honest opinion here is that Fatal Influence will be completely fine. And I do think JC Jane will end up going solo anyways, with Fallon Henley also going solo.
Correct. And I think that's the right decision at the end of the day, is letting those two ladies eventually go solo. Because JC Jane is obviously, I remember when she won the championship thinking, oh my God, I can't believe they did that. Why the hell would they do that? Yeah. If Fallon Henley in my mind at that time made more sense if they were going to do that. But they ended up obviously having JC Jane do it. But you could just tell how her work, even herself, has progressed since the moment she won the championship to now. And I think you can make the same discussion with Fallon Henley. I think Fallon Henley's been pretty good for the last like year and a half, in my personal opinion, you know, whether it be like the cowgirl gimmick or whatever. But personally speaking, yeah, I mean, when it comes down to Jasmine Nix, kind of agreeing with you in the sense that she was very green. Disagreeing with you that I you know, because I know you said that you don't think there was much more for her. And I think it's kind of hard to make an assumption based off of, you know, because while that may be true, we never know what it could have looked like after. And we're just kind of in the situation that we are. So, you know, that's just kind of tough to say in my personal opinion.
So let me ask you,
know,
let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
I like that. I like the pushback. You watch basketball.
Correct.
Let's talk about Jalen Duren on the Pistons.
For sure. Love Jalen Duren.
Okay, cool. Me too. He's a great player, right?
Yeah. Correct.
Is this guy going to be a 10-time All-Star?
I see the point that you're about
My
to try
point
and
that I'm
make.
trying to make is that you can tell if somebody's going to be a 10-time All-Star in the NBA.
Yes.
You could tell if somebody's going to be a major star in professional wrestling. My point that I'm making...
here's where I have to argue. Here's where I have to argue.
But before you do argue, my point that I'm trying to make, though, is yes, you can never be 100% certain, but I think you could kind of grasp by the way WWE does booking and the way they do things. It's going to be a lot harder for Jasmine Nix to break out as a single star when there's 30 other women who are clearly showing better skill and stuff. Not saying she can't get better, right? I'm just saying I think it's very obvious with the way WWE does bookings and the way they do things. There's a lot of people in front of her that will probably get the push that she won't get.
Correct. Now, I'm going to make an argument to you.
Yeah.
Carmelo Anthony, right?
Sure.
When he came into the league, everybody thought coming out of Syracuse, he's going to win a championship, right? Guess what he didn't do?
Win a championship.
Correct. Now, I'm not saying Jasmine Nix is Carmelo Anthony. I want to make that very motherfucking clear right now. That is not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is that it's untelling, right? Because somebody could be the highest prospect, and they could come out and their situation could just be bad, right? And maybe for Jasmine Nix, Fatal Influence could have just been bad for her, right? It's untelling. It's untelling. So that's the only point that I'm trying to make, and that's the only place where the disagreement comes from.
No, I get it, but that's why I'm saying I think it's just really important to make mention of it. Like you could kind of tell, and there's anomalies too. Like obviously Carmelo Hayes is one of the best to never win the championship, but at the same time too, and we have that in professional wrestling, but
correct. It happens all the time.
Yeah, but in professional wrestling, you could kind of tell. You know, and we've had this conversation before. It's like WWE, if they really want you to be a star, they will make you a star.
Yes, exactly. And that's where I would say that you're probably right under this circumstance, is that they know who they want their stars to be. They know how they want to push them. And normally in WWE, because again, it is scripted, they write these things out. They have a set plan for these people and where they're going to be going and how it's going to move forward. So I could see that is where you'd be right in that circumstance.
Yeah. Really quick, shout out to Tolino Channel for that super chat, and I appreciate it, brother. Nats fan kind of made a point. He's like, hey, do you think NXT looked Little League in 2300 Arena? He thought my take was a little tribalistic. Just I don't know if he bounced off the stream yet, but one thing I did want to address to that, NXT is consistently in venues that are 200 people. They are studio based at the Performance Center.
They didn't start in the United Center.
Yeah, so that is the difference. AEW was starting with huge attendance and then they worked their way down.
Yeah, I don't think that's a tribalistic thing. That's a factual thing.
Yeah, so that's why I just kind of want to clarify that because I didn't want there to be confusion. It's not a tribalistic thing. Right. NXT looks Little League even now, right? That's the truth.
Correct. Yeah, so, I mean, even in where are they at? Orlando, Tampa? I can't remember off the top of my head. But even now, yeah, they look Little League there.
Yeah.
But the thing is when you got good storytelling, it doesn't matter whether you're Little League or not.
Well, and NXT has always been associated with the studio-based wrestling, Full Sail and Performance Center. So aside from pay-per-views that they take on the road, they've always been that. You know what I mean? So that's I just want to clarify that so there was no confusion. But shout out to Tolino Channel for that super chat. Right hand Cam dropped a $5 super chat. He says, for the last few months, I've been enjoying NXT and Evolve more than the main roster. I mean, listen, I think that's a fair take. I personally just enjoy NXT always. It's weird, bro. You go back to the 2.0 days. It's just their fundamental system of how they do things in NXT has just
It's
always
always
been better
been
for
good.
me. Yeah, it's always been
Yeah,
good for
it's
me.
always yeah. No, I agree. Because you know me, I wasn't the biggest avid NXT watcher, especially like 2020, 2021.
Yeah.
Time frame there. But obviously, once they, this is gonna sound crazy, but I stopped really kind of going into 2020, 2021, and then kind of picked it up back up with 2.0. So really, I mean, it's from 2.0 on for me. If you want me to be quite honest, don't get me wrong. I mean, I watched, back in the early days and stuff like that. But really, at the end of the day, like 2.0 was really a set place for me. And yeah, dude, I mean, I can say the exact same. I remember at that time people were very upset because they knew Vince was kind of taking it over. Bruce Pritchard kind of had a grasp on it. People weren't really happy about it. But now when you look back at it and you look back, hindsight's 2020, right? Yeah. When you look back, you see Braun Breaker, Carmelo Hayes, guys like that who played like a prominent role in 2.0. Tony D'Angelo, so many different names, right? That played such that prominent role. It's so hard to say that time frame didn't really matter for them because it did. It was such an important role. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And it was just the fundamentals, though, like to the way NXT is.
Correct. So yeah, I actually can agree. Like, NXT's just kind of always kind of hit on those really good cylinders when it comes down to the fundamentals and stuff like that. And don't get me wrong, the one thing that I've always kind of looked at NXT and been like, all right, can we fix this a little bit? Has been the women's division, the locker room segments. Yeah. When all of them are there. Yep. It's always been just so cheesy to me. But again, that's just one nitpicking thing that I can take from everything that NXT has done.
Yeah, and why are they so cheesy? Why are they so corny? Because these people are mostly relatively new wrestlers, like
correct. And then they're not going out giving their literal blood, sweat, and tears to these promos every time they walk out.
And but you could tell too, like it was funny. But if you watch NXT, and this is one thing I really want to point out too, like Ethan Page and Tavion Heights. Right? Yeah. What a great feud. Yeah. But also, what a great way for us to get to Tavion Heights being more serious. Because if you watch NXT and you watch Tavion Heights when he was new in WWE and you see him in NXT starting off, he was part of those cheesy backstage segments, right? Now,
I mean, so many names were. Look at the guys from Dark State. A lot of them were too.
Yeah. But here's the thing, though. You see Tavion Heights throughout time gained more experience and more comfort and more confidence to the point where now, like, this match is going to be such a great match. I think people are sleeping on how good this feud is. But
Tavion Heights and Ethan Page?
Yeah, like I
hope people aren't sleeping on that.
I think we'll probably do No Mercy predictions or whatever. I'm hoping
for sure.
As much as I love what they're doing with Ethan Page, that's a main roster act right there. He doesn't need to be in NXT.
He's ready to go up and
give Tavion Heights the belt. Yeah. This guy gets
let him run with it.
So that's the thing, right? Yeah. Does NXT still have some of those cheesy segments? Yeah. But that's the core of NXT. Eventually you see people break away from it because they're getting better and they're getting confident. So
right, exactly.
I'm okay with that because you're watching progression, and listen, to me, NXT is always developmental. I don't care what anybody says. It's developmental. Yes, you put some veterans in there.
And even me, I just have to come out and say I said blood, sweat, and tears, and just want to apologize for that because I think you just said the word best. It's progression. It's watching these people progress and go further. Don't let me downplay what they're doing.
I'm gonna cover you on this though. There are some people in NXT, and I'm shooting the shot right now. I'm saying it. I've said it before. There are talent who were in NXT, and I'm not gonna say names, but there are definitely talent who came from NXT who got released. Where the fuck are they now? They're not wrestling. They might be podcasting. They might be doing photos for OF or some other subscription service. But there are people. No, I'm dead ass serious, bro. I
know, bro. I know.
Tino Sabatelli. Let's talk about him. Here's a name. Tino Sabatelli was in NXT, Black and Gold, got released, went to AEW, was part of AEW Dark, and stuff over there during the COVID era. And where is he now? He's doing a podcast with his wife, Mandy Rose. Cool. Good for you. I'm happy for you. But some people, and sometimes it could be health related or whatever too. And there's situations, but there are definitely people who go to NXT. They come from some sort of collegiate background or some sort of athletic background. They get into wrestling and they realize, hey, the 30, 40 grand that NXT pays us, it's not worth it. I don't have the hustle or the skill drive or the ambition to be an
Correct.
indie
Maybe
wrestler.
I don't have the passion that I thought I did.
Yeah, and like, but it's very telling. You know, you could see there's a lot of people, and it's happened a lot. Go back and watch.
sure.
Oh my God, go back 2012 NXT, see who used to be on that roster. Maybe they were jobbers or whatever, but they didn't work out, and see if they're still wrestling today. See what happened to their career after.
I want to go back and look. I'm going to go back and look, and I'm going to come back tomorrow.
You'd be amazed. You'd be amazed.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying it's pretty freaking normal that people, and I'm not mad at it. I'm not tripping, but I'm just saying to your credit, yeah, there are some people who just don't love it. They don't do it.
Yeah.
And they don't,
So for sure.
And you know, this is where people should be given credit. Dana Brooke got released from the WWE, left the company, goes to TNA, Ash by Elegance.
Boom.
Her and George Iceman and the whole Elegance brand has become fucking
Love
awesome
it.
to watch. That didn't happen because she quit and came back. She kept working towards progression and got better. So there's just certain talent who maybe they weren't even that great in WWE, but they left and then they were like, no, I love this and I want to get better at it. And they still go somewhere and do something. And shout out to all of those talent, whether it's in WWE or AEW or MLW or TNA. If you get fired or whatever it may be, there's a chance that you can go and do something elsewhere. You can have the skills and the drive and the ambition, and that will take you far. And I'm just saying,
Correct.
I've noticed this with NXT. There's definitely people who have shown up, signed to the company, and then they get released or they quit the company or whatever ends up happening, and then they're done wrestling. And a lot of it is people that typically come from those NIL deals or the college background or sports or whatever, and it just simply doesn't work out for them. And that's fine. It's not for you. But there is definitely some people that show up on NXT television and you could just tell that maybe they're not getting it right away and they're not progressing right away. And then there's people like what's her name? Lainey what fuck?
Oh yeah, Lainey. I know who you're talking about.
I'm trying to remember her name, but
she popped in immediately.
yeah, she's killing it right now. It's like, okay, bro,
Right.
like there's just certain people where like you could watch them and you can tell they're going to do something good. There's going to be a place for them on the shows, right? So that's my point.
Yeah.
That's my only point that I'm making is that some
Well,
people
I appreciate you backing me there a little bit.
yeah, because I definitely notice it. And listen, man, like I'm just being straight up honest. Like it doesn't impact me, but it's very noticeable when you watch a TV show who's phoning it in. And like, listen,
Right,
there's certain people that I think their gimmicks are garbage. Ricochet's one of them. I've said this a million times. I have no problem saying it. I think Ricochet's social media usage and his character on AEW television is whack. But I am proud of Ricochet. Not that he needs my fucking
Approval or anything like that.
Yeah, you don't need it. But like, I'm proud to see that Ricochet left WWE and was like, no, I'm going to go to AEW and we're going to figure it out. And I'm going to be a main.
And he worked on those mic skills that everybody judged him for.
Yeah, I don't like the gimmick. I think it's corny. I think his social media behavior is corny.
And that's just an opinion.
That's fine. It's okay. I still respect the fact that he goes in there and he kills it. He kills it.
Right.
You know what I mean? He's trying. He's ambitious. He's like, no, like I love AEW. Like he's doing his thing. Dude, I respect that a lot because in WWE, in WWE towards the end, it didn't really feel like he cared. And it's obvious he didn't care because you could
No, you could see it was fading away.
yeah, and that's fine. Sometimes, you know, but Ricochet could have been like, hey, WWE killed my love for professional wrestling. I'm done. No.
And just walked away.
He went to AEW and he's like, no, he said in an interview, the plan was always to turn heel. This happened organically, whatever. Great. Good for you. It's not for me. It's not my favorite character. In fact, maybe that's why he's so good at his character because it's not supposed to be for me. Cool.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? There's just certain people you could see they're like, hey, listen, man, it didn't work out here. I'm going to go somewhere else. I'm going to try to make something better, right? Andrade is another example of somebody who like killed it in NXT originally, went to the main roster, somewhat killed it, fell off, didn't work, goes to AEW, simply didn't work, comes back to WWE, gets a huge pop, goes into this tag team with Rey Fenix, and I'm like, okay, this is not what I was expecting, not exactly what I was wanting, but for some reason it works. I like it. Okay, all of a sudden he's gone from the company. It's like there's just certain things. It just every person is situational. Every situation is different, and that's okay.
Correct. I agree. 1,000.
Shout out to Tolino Channel for that super chat. Right hand cam. Shout out to you for that super chat. There was a super chat from the Wrestling Old Head who dropped $10. So shout out to the Wrestling Old Head. He said, is there too much wrestling nowadays, and is it contributing to the lack of storyline development in wrestling where most companies are only left a few weeks to build a card with high interest matches?
Can I go?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Yeah, I think there is too much wrestling. I think you have access to too much wrestling. Does that make sense? Like, it's great if you're like a diehard pro wrestling fan and that's what you want to do with your time. For sure. You deserve that access. But I remember when I was young, I remember when I watched pro wrestling,
Yeah.
it was very much just Raw, SmackDown, pay-per-view. You know what I mean? And that felt like enough pro wrestling, right? Shows at that time were about 2 hours long, right?
Yeah.
Didn't have to worry about like, it starts at 8 o'clock, ends at 10, both shows, perfect.
Yeah.
Right now, it's 8, 10:30, got to go to work on Tuesday. It's tough. Now, again, I have to also ask myself the question of, who is the true target audience of pro wrestling? And the truth is that there's no true target audience, because at the end of the day, they're just casual people who do everyday things, right? Yeah. So in my eyes, I do think that, I think when you're consuming so much, eventually that fatigue, right, starts to set in. There is, you have so much access to it. It's so easy to find. It's so easy to get a hold of. You got Ring of Honor, you got MLW, you got NWA, you got TNA, you got WWE, you got AEW, and you got Stardom, you got New Japan. So many. Noah, I mean, I can keep going on. AAA, like, where do you want me to stop, right?
Yeah.
And truth is, you have access to every single one of those. Now, whether you choose to watch them, that's up to you. But there are some people that try to digest them all. And once you try to digest them all, you are eventually going to feel fatigue. That's too much. It's too much. That's why a football season is only 17 games. Yeah. That's enough for me to digest, because eventually I would get tired of it. The same way now when I look at the NBA, I get tired of 81 or 82 games. Can't remember the number. But I get tired because there's so much going on all at once. You know what I'm saying?
So it's interesting because with the NBA, I used to watch a lot of teams. Now I consolidated it to highest priority, the Pistons.
Correct.
Sometimes, sometimes on Tuesdays and Thursdays, or it's going to change a little bit because NBC got the TV deal or whatever. But like sometimes they'll have those double headers. Occasionally I tune into those, but for the most part, I consolidated all my NBA viewing to the Pistons. I will say this though, and I think I'm gonna 100% agree with you. There is too much wrestling, and I know it's crazy. My job is to bring you guys the news with everything.
Correct. It's good for us that there's a lot of wrestling.
In terms of viewing habits, though, and I will tell you guys right now, they will change significantly this fall. My viewing habits will be that I will watch Raw live. I will watch NXT live. I will not watch AEW live. I will not watch TNA live. Unless TNA, of course, goes live every week. But as long as they remain pre-taped, I'm not going to do that. But if they go live, like they're saying with this new TV deal, okay, that's different. But I'm not going to watch TNA live, and Friday Night SmackDown I will not watch live. So I'm basically committing.
I think that's very fair.
I'm committing to Mondays and Tuesdays where I will watch live. But let me be clear. This is not a decision of, hey, I'm against watching it. But there is a huge difference. Something has changed in the past year that made me realize I don't need to watch it live. And that is the simple fact that we do our talk show at 12 p.m. the following day.
Correct.
So I feel like this fall, what's going to end up happening is I will watch wrestling. But if I don't get home, for example, if I don't get home exactly at 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock to watch Raw or NXT or whatever, I can just watch it right after. I can watch it before I go to bed. I can watch it later. I don't need to watch it live. I no longer really live tweet professional wrestling because, again, I told you I was staying away from that.
I never have. I never have.
So like my thing is that's kind of changed. I know Corey Peterson just said in the chat, AEW is it's must watch live to avoid spoilers. Well, technically speaking, yes, you have to watch it live to avoid spoilers. But what I'm saying is I'm also going to be less and less and less on social media so I can avoid spoilers.
You don't have to digest the spoilers.
Yeah. I probably won't be watching too much wrestling live anymore. And it's not a bad thing. It's just I don't need to, right? Now let me be perfectly clear, right? And this is obviously you have to factor in planning a wedding and stuff of that nature, but I'm trying to get back in the gym and being physically active and healthy and stuff, right? So that's a factor. I got to figure out how to put that into my work schedule. Because not only do I make multiple videos a day and multiple TikToks, but I'm sending emails and stuff. but I have to make
For
all
sure.
that work plus plan a wedding and reach out and call people and do things for that. So the way that I look at this though, but I think this is like a good thing for me, right? Is I can watch Raw and NXT and AEW live, right? But there's really no
Yeah.
purpose anymore for me to watch it live because there's so much
Correct.
going on. There is so much going on, but I don't do a live post show. So for me, it's like, okay, well, hold on. If I can't watch AEW live, I can go and watch it on DVR and just fast forward the commercials. The point that I'm
sure.
trying to make
Easy enough.
is there is so much wrestling going on. And we have every information accessible through TikTok and YouTube and all this stuff.
Correct. It's so easy to just grab it.
Yes. Now, for example, WWE and AEW, when they do this, they do a good job. But when they advertise in advance what's going to happen on a show, if it looks really cool, okay, maybe that might change my mind. Basically, what I'm saying is if there's a Pistons game, and I did this last year and I tested it out, and that's how I know this works. If there's a Pistons game on, I'm a diehard Pistons fan, right? If there's a Pistons game on, I can put that on my iPad while I have WWE Raw on the TV.
Fair.
You
I
see
mean,
what
I'm
I'm
a big football fan, so that's the one thing that they're competing with me now is I'm a diehard football fan, dude. It's not just the Lions, it's all football, right? I'm very indulged into football, and now they are competing with that, and you have to grab my attention. You do.
Yeah.
You know, the AJ Lee thing was a great example of grabbing my attention and making me watch. That you did a wonderful job by doing that.
Now, this is where things are different, though, for me and you. You do watch longs. I don't.
Correct. So that's where things get a little tough, right? Here's the thing: is I do watch alongs, but at some point I have to be a human being, right?
Yeah.
And human being comes well before live reactor. It does.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're still competing. You know, granted, Monday nights are always pretty to do because I'll be honest, most of the Monday night football games I don't care about. Friday nights are also pretty easy.
They do football games on Friday nights?
Recently they have.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought it was just Sundays, Mondays, and Thursdays.
Well, so here's the thing: is sometimes you'll get a Friday night game.
Yeah.
Just depending, they'll follow it. I know maybe they did like one or two in the last year or so.
Yeah.
But it does happen. You know what I mean? But you also have Thursday night football, right?
Yeah.
Then you have Sunday night football, right? That one's tough. So if you're asking a pay-per-view, okay, how good is that pay going to be, right? Again, avid football watcher. So again, really what I'm trying to say here is I completely understand what you're saying. It's hard to digest everything kind of all at once.
Yeah. So one thing I will throw out to you that's just a suggestion that you could do because you do watch both. But you are definitely one of those guys that can like simulcast. Like you could do the football like watch along while you're doing wrestling.
So that was actually kind of funny. It's something that obviously you and I talked about it a little bit, but yeah, I've been actually thinking about doing some football watch alongs along with the wrestling watch.
Because you could put a live sports ticker on your live streams. So like you could be watching Raw and doing your reactions and stuff, but then it's like, oh hey, I'm also watching on a second screen and.
Yep.
The thing is, there is a connection. People that watch wrestling do watch sports, and I will say this:
football,
they watch sports
for sure.
Man. We have people who watch wrestling watch sports, and for me, it's like basketball is a huge deal to me. Obviously, this is my job, but that's why it's kind of nice in my specific thing where it's like, man, I don't have to. If I watch it live, cool. But if I not even, let me be clear too. It's not even just like, oh, I'm not watching it live. I'm gonna watch it 3 days later. No. I'm still going to watch it in the same day. I'm just not going to be, oh, I have to get home at 8 o'clock. I have to watch this right away. Like I might have to do something else.
Oh, I got to hurry.
Yeah. Like it's not a big deal. You could skip, for you, if you do watch alongs and then you're watching Monday Night Football, for example, dude, you can make that a whole experience. Cause then people who also watch wrestling and also watch sports are like, oh, cool. I get best of both worlds. It is going back to that super chat though. It is crazy because there's a lot of wrestling. And some people have gotten pissed at me. They're like, Ango, you don't watch New Japan? No, I'm not going to watch New Japan. I'm not going to wake up at 4 a.m. to watch that shit. Like, I'm sorry. I don't care.
Hell no.
It's not for me. And I love wrestling, but the one thing I'm not going to do is lose myself in order to watch wrestling. My job is to stay connected to everything that's happening in professional wrestling. I will always do that. And I'll always watch wrestling. But to say it's going to be this thing where I watch it, oh my God, I got to get home by 8 o'clock. Like if I'm at the gym, I've done this too. Like I've gone to the gym and watched wrestling while I'm working out. That's always a
For
fun
sure,
thing.
yeah. Throw it on your phone.
I
or
did that a
something
lot
like that.
last winter, right? I did that a lot.
Yeah.
And then I would come home and then we would go live or whatever. But now that we do the 12 p.m. show, it's like, okay, I'll still watch wrestling at the gym because it's good. But my point that I'm making is like, if I don't feel like watching it necessarily right now at 8 p.m., I'm okay. Thank God HBO Max and Netflix and all these things happen.
Right.
You know, and that does lead to one thing I want to point out though, Billy. One thing I want to point out. These fucking streaming services.
Too damn much.
So the wrestling old head made a really good point with his super chat, but the one point that needed to be added is there's too many outlets, too many things in order to watch.
It's not all consolidated in one place like it should be.
Yeah. I get why it's not. It's smart business. It's fucking
For sure, yeah. I mean, it's different companies, shit like that. I understand that.
It is a massively smart thing that they've done. But for a consumer, like the ESPN
asking me to pay like $300 a month in subscriptions?
Okay, that's a little bit of an exaggeration, but yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yes, I'm exaggerating. I hope everybody knows that, but I guess not everybody would. I'm exaggerating. It's not like $300 a month.
Yeah.
But you're asking a lot of money out of somebody. Maybe at the bare minimum, $100 a month.
Yeah. No, it's a lot. It's a lot, and that's why when you go back to that original super chat, it's like, hey, is there too much wrestling nowadays? Yes, but I also think there's a lot of wrestling, but then there's also a lot of like, and that's the thing that pisses me off. But it's like there's a lot of wrestling happening, and then also in addition to that, there's too many places to go to watch wrestling, and that's annoying. And to be honest with you, we are spoiled. We're Americans, we're in America.
For sure, we got it so easy.
The UK audience,
I know when we get to Perth, we get to feel it a little bit. We got to wake up at 8 a.m. to watch the show.
Oh, it's gonna be worth it though. I like the morning shows.
Oh, for sure. I love the morning show. Do you remember when they did the Elimination Chamber at like 5 a.m.?
I love that shit.
Me too. I loved every minute of it. I love that shit.
You know what else?
I fell back asleep for a little while after.
I know people are complaining about WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia. With that announcement.
That shit, 2 o'clock.
I love 2 o'clock pay-per-views. People were pissed at AEW. People were so pissed at AEW for moving Forbidden Door in their pay-per-views.
Oh no. Hell no.
Dude, it's like, give me earlier pay-per-views. And listen, I know I got scolded for this, Billy. I don't know if you remember, but it was like, Ango is so fucking cool, man, because he goes out on Friday nights. He doesn't have to watch SmackDown. He can't watch SmackDown because he's too cool. He's too social. Or like on Saturday nights, people would be like, oh, you hate Saturday pay-per-views because you're cool and you're social. But like, the thing is, when I got scolded for it, though, the way I looked at it was my job is wrestling, right? So I like Sunday pay-per-views at night because I'm like, I don't have to wake up at Monday and go to a fucking 9 to 5 with an hour drive, like the old days. So I don't mind having a Sunday night pay-per-view. I get why people don't like them. I'm not dumb. I understand. I'm the most understanding person. I look at all aspects. But sometimes those Sunday night pay-per-views or Saturday during the day pay-per-views are fucking nice.
They're a little tough.
They're tough, man. I like that shit. That's the experience, man. Which is cool and for sure, But when you look at wrestling, and shout out to the wrestling old head, but when you look at wrestling right now, I think there's just a lot of cool stuff happening. And you see this TNA invasion. You look at NXT last night, and it was a very good episode. And there's just so much to get excited about for sure, It's just there is a lot of stuff happening. And because there's a lot of stuff happening, because there's a lot of things going on at once, I think the wrestling old head, I think he made a really good point. I just think there's a lot. And I think having there's a lot of wrestling when you combine everything, right? There's a lot of wrestling during the week. There is WWE is basically controlling your day. AEW is controlling your day. The kickoff shows, 13 matches.
You have to think about it.
Yeah,
you have to think about it all day.
Exactly. It takes up a lot of real estate in your mind. So you have all this wrestling. You have too many platforms that you have to download or have to watch wrestling. Then, in addition to that, I think you have to be cognizant of social media and then the negativity that wrestling has in social media. So that adds to it. It just adds to a lot of fatigue. And I think the best thing that I can recommend is just watch what you guys watch what you enjoy. Watching live or not, I don't think really matters. And then my final thing I will say on this too is I should probably get a VPN sponsorship.
Yes, you should, because I use a VPN. No, I don't.
So let's hold on.
Keep the show? You weren't supposed to stop. Keep the show going.
I censored him.
Thank you.
Can you hear that?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I was just censoring. I didn't know what you were about to say. I had to make sure.
Yeah. You were supposed to keep the show going. You were supposed to continue moving and just kind of fly by like I never said that.
That's what I think.
Well, Stephanie McMahon said it.
I know. I'm just kidding.
She told me to get one.
She did. That was funny.
She told me. So you know what? I listened. Who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares?
I think there is definitely a lot of fun things that are going to be on the horizon. Tonight's AEW should be pretty damn good.
It'll be a very good show. Yeah.
I'm expecting some good things there, and obviously Jungle Boy is back. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, with
Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy. Like, I'm excited.
We're hopefully going to get some answers from All Out. Eddie Kingston's there.
We should see what
Pac
they
is
do.
it. Pac is there. It's going to be a good show.
NXT was awesome last night. I'm super excited to see how they go forward. Friday, TNA has their special. Saturday's NXT No Mercy. Tonight's Dynamite. A lot of good things in wrestling. Again, that's why I love these conversations, because we could just shoot the shit and just have some fun with it. But
for sure,
definitely a lot of wrestling. So this is definitely a place to subscribe. Make sure you guys subscribe to Billy at Billy TKO as well. Shout out to everybody who dropped a super chat, by the way. The Wrestling Old Head. Where is everybody? Tolino Channel, Right Hand Cam became a member again, so shout out to him. Shout out to everybody that came through, man. I'm super excited. And
for sure,
dude,
for sure.
When does the NBA season start? Next week, I think.
It's in October. Yeah,
preseason at least.
Right, preseason starts in October.
So we're getting closer to that too. That's gonna be fun. Honestly,
for sure. Basketball season's right around the corner. Get to see some Cade Cunningham ball again. Can't wait.
Oh, dude, that's exciting for me. I'm just geeked, man. And you know, honestly,
yeah, I'm very much enjoying my Detroit Lions as of recently.
Can I tell you something too? This adds to that last super chat, and this is some true shit.
Ahead.
If you live in Michigan, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm so goddamn tired of this weather that I cannot wait until it's cold and I can wear comfy clothes, crawl into bed with 5 blankets and a hoodie, and just get comfy and cozy and watch wrestling.
I do that anyways. But my house is also freezing.
But I'm just saying, we have this issue where, like, the other day it was 78 degrees and sunny. Then it started to storm.
Yeah, dude, it's our end of summer. You know what I'm saying? It happens in Michigan every time fall is about to happen.
I will probably enjoy wrestling. Let's go back to the stream and like end of October for sure. End of October. By the time it gets cold and stuff, I will probably enjoy wrestling and watch live every day, because that's what I did last winter, bro. That's what I did last winter. I was like, bro, I'm watching live all the time. I would go to the gym, watch live, come back, go live, whatever. That will probably change. But right now, as it stands, this weather is making me fucking annoyed, and I cannot wait to just sit back in comfy clothes and just enjoy and turn on the space heater and frickin' just comfy, cozy vibes, man. I love Thanksgiving. I love Christmas. I love winter. I can't believe I'm saying it, but it is true. And I will probably be much happier, because right now I am so goddamn tired of this weather. It was raining. Billy, I woke up, it was raining and it was storming, and then it got freaking hot. I stepped outside. I'm like, why is it so sunny?
Yeah, dude, it's so humid.
So annoying. And then I feel crabby and annoyed, and I'm just like, all right, bro, I need to watch wrestling. But I can't. I got to work. So then.
Right, exactly.
But tonight, it's like, okay, there's Dynamite. If it's hot, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. It's not making sense to people. I know that for a fact. What I'm saying is not making sense to people. But once the fall weather,
it makes sense in my head.
Fall weather and winter weather will probably put me in a much better mood. I typically thrive for summer weather, but I feel like this has been such a long summer. And now when you're planning a wedding, dude, like I got in my car the other day and I was just like, fuck, I don't even want to be in my car. Leather seats, it's hot.
Yeah, hot as hell. Hot as hell,
I need fall weather. I need Halloween. I need Thanksgiving. I need Christmas.
Ready for it now. October's right around the corner. We're about a week away.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. We'll be back tomorrow, hopefully, right, Billy?
Yeah, big time. Big time. We're going to be back tomorrow.
We're going to be back tomorrow. We'll talk about a whole bunch of stuff in wrestling. Guys, thank you all so much for joining us. Make sure you click subscribe. Make sure you click like. Make sure you show some love to Billy as well at Billy TKO. He's also on TikTok and all that good stuff. I'm on TikTok and stuff, all that good stuff. All right, ladies and gentlemen,